Big news, your soulmate is bursting into tears because they finally realize that you are not who you appeared to be in reality, you are. My beloved child, don't skip this moment, because something huge is waiting for you, and the truth your soulmate has finally realized may completely change the way they see you. They thought they understood you. They thought they had figured out your heart, your intentions, and the person standing behind that quiet face. But then something happened that made them stop, look back at everything, and suddenly realize, you were never who you appeared to be. Stay till the end, because the revelation is not about something you did wrong, it is about something extraordinary they never saw coming. And right now, their emotions are overflowing because they finally understand that the person they underestimated was carrying a depth they could never measure. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes personal. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that your silence was not emptiness, your distance was not indifference, and your patience was not weakness. You were protecting something precious inside yourself. You were loving more deeply than you ever explained, noticing more than you ever revealed, and carrying feelings you chose not to place on anyone else's shoulders. That realization hit them harder than expected. They are replaying moments in their mind. Your words, your pauses, the way you looked at them, the moments when you could have walked away but somehow remained connected. And suddenly, one thought keeps returning: how did I fail to recognize who this person really was? Stay till the end, because there is another layer to this revelation that they are only beginning to understand. And here is the part you were never expecting. Your soulmate is realizing that in reality, you are far more valuable, genuine, and emotionally powerful than the version of you they created in their mind. They are not crying because they discovered something disappointing about you, they are overwhelmed because they discovered something beautiful they never fully appreciated before. Something huge is waiting for you, so don't skip what comes next. Their tears represent the collapse of an old assumption, and the beginning of a completely different understanding of you. They are finally seeing the person behind the appearance, behind the silence, behind every moment you chose to stay strong. And once that realization settles into their heart, they may never be able to look at you the same way again. There is something your soulmate suddenly understood that they cannot easily forget now. They once believed they had already figured you out, but one small realization opened a much bigger truth. They began connecting moments they had previously ignored, the way you cared without demanding attention, the way you noticed little things, the way you sometimes stepped back instead of forcing your presence. And then it hit them: you were never trying to prove your worth. You were simply being yourself. Don't skip, because this is where their emotions become even deeper. They are beginning to understand that the person they thought was ordinary was actually carrying an extraordinary heart, and that realization is leaving them overwhelmed. Stay till the end, because the biggest revelation is still ahead. Your soulmate may be looking at the past differently now. A conversation that once seemed unimportant suddenly has meaning. A moment they barely noticed suddenly feels unforgettable. Even your silence may now sound louder than words. They are realizing that you gave them something rare: sincerity without performance, care without conditions, and a connection that did not need constant explanation. Something huge is waiting for you, because their tears are connected to a realization that goes beyond missing you. They are wondering whether they misunderstood your entire story, and whether the person they were searching for was closer than they ever realized. And now, listen carefully, because this is the turning point. Your soulmate is starting to realize that you are not someone who needs to chase, convince, or beg to be recognized. In reality, you are someone whose value becomes clearer when the noise disappears. That is why this realization feels so emotional to them. They are seeing your strength differently. They are seeing your heart differently. They are seeing you differently. Don't skip what comes next, because once they fully understand what they overlooked, their next emotional decision could reveal just how deeply this realization has affected them. Something has changed inside your soulmate, and they can no longer look at the past with the same eyes. The memories they once brushed aside are suddenly returning with a completely different meaning. They are remembering the moments when you stayed calm, the moments when you gave more than you received, and the moments when you could have explained yourself but chose silence instead. And now they are asking themselves a question that keeps becoming harder to ignore: what if I never truly understood this person? Don't skip, because that question is opening a door to a realization far bigger than they expected. Your soulmate is beginning to see that what looked like distance may have been self-control, what looked like mystery may have been depth, and what looked like ordinary kindness may have been something incredibly rare. Stay till the end, because your soulmate is now discovering the part of you that you never needed to announce. You were not trying to impress them. You were not trying to create an image. You simply continued being genuine even when nobody was applauding you for it. That is what is affecting them so deeply now. They are realizing that your strongest qualities were hidden inside the moments that seemed insignificant. The patience. The understanding. The ability to forgive without making a performance out of it. The ability to care while still protecting your own peace. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is slowly understanding that the person they thought they had figured out was actually much deeper than the version they created in their imagination. But here comes the revelation that may change everything. Your soulmate is realizing that you were never asking them to see a perfect version of you, you were simply hoping they would see the real one. And now, perhaps for the first time, they are looking beyond appearances. They are seeing the heart behind your actions, the meaning behind your silence, and the emotion behind the moments you never explained. Don't skip now, because this realization is creating a powerful emotional shift. The tears are not about weakness, they are about finally understanding the value of something they may have taken for granted. Stay till the end, because the next part reveals what happens when this realization stops being a private thought inside their heart and begins turning into a decision they can no longer ignore. Right when your soulmate thought they had finally understood you, another truth surfaced, and this one hit much deeper. They are realizing that the person they once tried to define was never meant to fit inside their assumptions. You were not cold, you were careful. You were not distant. You were protecting something meaningful. You were not difficult to understand, you simply stopped explaining your heart to people who were not ready to listen. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is now looking back at moments they once misunderstood, and every memory seems to be revealing a different version of the truth. The more they remember, the more emotional they become, because they are finally seeing how much of your real self existed underneath the surface. Stay till the end, because this is where their realization becomes personal. They are beginning to understand that you never needed to make yourself look special, you simply were. Your strength was hidden in your restraint. Your love was hidden in your consistency. Your loyalty was hidden in the things you did without announcing them. And perhaps the most surprising realization is this: you were not waiting for someone to complete you. You are learning how to stand firmly within yourself. That discovery has shaken the picture they had created of you. They may have expected you to be predictable, but instead they discovered someone with layers, boundaries, dreams, and a heart far more powerful than they imagined. Don't skip this part, because the next realization goes even deeper. And now your soulmate is reaching the point where they have to admit something to themselves. They may have judged your appearance while completely missing your essence. That is why their emotions are becoming impossible to hide. They are not simply remembering you, they are reconsidering you. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where everything starts shifting from realization to action. Your soulmate may finally understand that if they want to know the real you, they cannot keep relying on old assumptions. They have to approach you differently, listen differently, and recognize the person standing in front of them for who you truly are. Stay till the end, because the next part uncovers the one quality they finally recognized in you, and why that discovery may be the reason their heart is overwhelmed right now. The moment your soulmate finally recognized this one quality in you, everything they believed about you began to fall apart, and don't skip, because this is the part they never saw coming. They realized that beneath your calm exterior was someone who had been quietly choosing love, patience, and understanding even when nobody noticed. You were never trying to appear mysterious. You simply stopped giving explanations for every part of your heart. And now your soulmate is beginning to understand that your silence carried meaning. Your absence carried meaning. Even the moments when you said nothing may have been saying more than 1,000 words. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and this realization is making them revisit every moment they once misunderstood. What is affecting them most is the discovery that you were never desperate to be chosen. You could care deeply and still maintain your dignity. You could miss someone and still continue moving forward. You could have feelings and still refuse to lose yourself inside them. Your soulmate is seeing that strength now, and it is creating an emotional reaction they cannot easily explain. They are realizing that your heart was not weak because it was sensitive, it was powerful because it could feel deeply without becoming cruel. Don't skip, because this is where the title becomes even more meaningful. They are finally realizing that you are not who you appeared to be. In reality, you are someone far more resilient, sincere, and emotionally grounded than they ever understood. And then comes the thought that keeps returning to them, maybe I never truly saw them. That single realization can change everything. They are remembering your smallest gestures and understanding them differently now. The kindness they overlooked. The patience they misunderstood. The moments you gave them space instead of pressure. The times you stayed genuine when pretending would have been easier. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is no longer simply thinking about who you were, they are beginning to wonder who you could become together if they finally approached the connection with honesty and understanding. Stay till the end, because the next revelation goes beyond what they discovered about you. It reveals what this realization is awakening inside them. A completely different thought is now taking over your soulmate's mind, and this is where the story becomes even more emotional. They are beginning to understand that you were never trying to become someone worthy of their attention, you were already carrying qualities they failed to recognize. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They are looking at your past actions through a new lens, and suddenly the little things feel enormous. The patience they once overlooked now feels meaningful. The moments you gave them space now feel intentional. The calmness they once misunderstood now looks like emotional strength. And somewhere inside, your soulmate is realizing that the real version of you was always there, they simply were not ready to see it. Stay till the end, because now their realization is moving from your personality toward your heart. They are beginning to understand that you did not need constant attention to care. You did not need dramatic words to feel deeply. You could hold powerful emotions and still choose peace. That is what is touching them now. Your soulmate may be asking themselves why they spent so much time trying to understand your surface when the real answer was hidden in your consistency. Something huge is waiting for you, because this discovery is creating a strange combination of emotion, regret, admiration, and longing. They are not just thinking about what happened between you, they are thinking about what they failed to notice while it was happening. And then comes the realization that changes the entire picture. Your soulmate is beginning to see that you were never asking them to believe in an illusion, you were quietly showing them the real you all along. Don't skip now, because this is where their emotional reaction becomes impossible to ignore. They are finally understanding that your value was never dependent on whether they recognized it immediately. You were becoming stronger, wiser, and more certain of yourself regardless. Stay till the end, because the next part reveals the one thing your soulmate is now beginning to fear, not fear of you, but fear that they may have waited too long to fully understand the person you truly are. The thought your soulmate cannot escape now is surprisingly simple: what if I finally understand them, but they have already changed? Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They are realizing that while they were trying to understand your surface, you were quietly evolving underneath it. The person they remember may still exist, but your mindset has become stronger, your standards have become clearer, and your heart has learned what it deserves. That realization is emotional because your soulmate is beginning to understand that you were never standing still, waiting for someone else to recognize your worth. You were growing. You were learning. You were becoming more comfortable with who you truly are. And now they are wondering whether the version of you they once misunderstood is still waiting for them, or whether life has already taught you to stop waiting. Stay till the end, because this is where the realization becomes even more powerful. Your soulmate is starting to understand that your greatest transformation was not becoming harder, it was becoming more authentic. You no longer need to prove that your heart is genuine. You no longer need to explain every emotion. You no longer need someone else's approval to know your own value. And that is exactly what makes your soulmate emotional. They are seeing that the person they thought needed to be understood is actually someone who has learned to understand themselves. Something huge is waiting for you, because this shift changes the balance completely. Instead of wondering how to make you notice them, they may now be wondering whether they can approach you with the honesty and maturity you deserve. And now comes the realization that could completely change what happens next. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that you were never the person they had to convince, you were the person they had to genuinely appreciate. Don't skip this moment. They are finally seeing that your presence was never guaranteed, your patience was never endless, and your heart was never something to be taken for granted. The tears, the memories, the sudden emotional intensity, all of it points toward one truth they are finally accepting: you are not who you appeared to be. In reality, you are someone who can love deeply while still choosing yourself. Stay till the end, because the next part reveals what happens when your soulmate finally stops analyzing the past and starts deciding what they truly want to do about you. The past is no longer the only thing occupying your soulmate's mind. Now they are imagining what could happen next. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They are beginning to understand that knowing your true nature changes the entire meaning of this connection. You were never simply someone who wanted attention, you wanted authenticity. You were never looking for empty promises, you wanted actions that matched words. And now your soulmate is realizing that the real you cannot be understood from one conversation, one moment, or one impression. They are seeing your depth differently, and that discovery is stirring emotions they had kept buried beneath assumptions. Stay till the end, because the next realization is about what they now believe you deserve. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that you deserve to be approached with clarity instead of confusion, consistency instead of mixed signals, and genuine appreciation instead of assumptions. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are no longer asking, "Why are they like this?" They are starting to ask, "Why didn't I see this sooner?" That question is changing everything. They are replaying the moments when your heart was quietly visible, and now those moments feel much more meaningful. Don't skip, because the emotional weight is building toward a truth they may have avoided for a long time. Your value was never created by their recognition. It existed before they understood it, and it will remain whether they are ready for it or not. And now comes the deepest realization of all. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that you are not someone who needs to be rescued, completed, or transformed. In reality, you are someone who has been becoming whole through your own journey. And anyone who wants a place in your life has to meet the real you, not an imaginary version of you. Stay till the end, because this is where the entire message comes full circle. Their tears are not simply about what they discovered, they are about finally seeing the person you have always been beneath the surface. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next moment could reveal whether this realization remains inside their heart or finally becomes something they are brave enough to express.